Clara, a 26-year-old graphic designer, lived alone in a small apartment on the east side of town. Her days were quiet: coffee, work, gym, sleep, nothing unusual. But that changed one evening in November. It started with something small. She came home to find her front door unlocked. She brushed it off. Maybe she forgot that morning. But when she went to grab milk from the fridge, she noticed it had been moved to the opposite shelf. Little things, subtle, just enough to make her question herself. The next night, her phone buzzed with a new message from an unknown number. "You look tired today, Clara." She froze. There was no profile picture, no name. "Who is this?" she replied. No response. She tried to laugh it off, convincing herself it was a prank. But when she looked out her window, she saw something. A figure across the street, standing perfectly still under a flickering streetlight. She closed the blinds immediately. That night, she didn't sleep. Over the next week, the texts kept coming. "Don't ignore me. You looked pretty in blue. Why are you shutting the curtains?" Every time she got a message, she checked outside, but the figure never moved, just stood there, watching. She called the police, but they couldn't do much without proof. "Probably just a prank," they said. Then one morning, Clara woke up and saw a photo sent from that same unknown number. It was a picture of her sleeping in her bed. Her blood turned cold. She ran to check her door, still locked, every window still latched. How did someone take that photo? She grabbed her keys and fled to her friend Sarah's apartment, shaking as she showed her the messages. Sarah insisted she stay the night, and Clara finally managed to sleep, barely. But around 3 a.m., her phone buzzed again. "You shouldn't have left. This isn't your bed." She turned to Sarah's door. It was slightly open. Then she heard it. Footsteps in the hallway. Slow. Heavy. She reached for her phone to call 911, but before she could, Sarah burst into the room. "Clara, wake up! Someone's in the house!" They hid in the closet, clutching each other as they heard drawers being opened, things being moved. Then, silence. After what felt like hours, police arrived. They searched the apartment but found nothing. No sign of forced entry, no one outside, no footprints. But when one of the officers checked the security camera, his face went pale. The footage showed a man in a hood entering through the basement door hours before the girls arrived. He never left. The camera in the hallway had been unplugged after that. They searched every corner of the building. In the attic, they found a small sleeping bag, some snacks, and hundreds of photos, all of Clara. Some were from her daily walks, others through her apartment window, and one taken from inside her closet. It's been 3 years. Clara moved to another city, changed her number, even dyed her hair. But last week she got a new message from an unknown number. "Blue suits you better, Clara." Sophie Reynolds had always been cautious. Living alone in her old downtown apartment, she had routines. Simple, safe routines. Lock the door twice, check the peephole before opening. Never glance out the window at night. She thought these small precautions kept her safe, until she noticed the first anomaly. It started with reflections. A fleeting shape behind her in the bathroom mirror. She froze, blinking rapidly. Surely it was just fatigue, or the trick of dim lighting. But the feeling stayed. Something was watching her. Days later, Sophie found faint footprints in the hallway outside her apartment. They didn't belong to any neighbor she knew, and they always stopped at her door. Then came the whispers, soft, almost inaudible, trailing her wherever she went. "Sophie," they said. She shivered, telling herself she was imagining it. Then came the note, simple, ominous, slipped under her door. "I watch you even when you think I'm gone." Panic clawed at her chest. Sophie changed her locks, bought cameras, installed extra security, but the feeling never left. Every mirror she passed seemed alive. Her reflection hesitated for a moment too long. Her reflection's smile didn't quite match hers. Sometimes, she could swear she wasn't alone. Weeks went by. Sophie stopped leaving her apartment. She stopped answering the phone. She stopped looking at mirrors entirely. But the whispers never stopped. Night after night, she would hear tapping, soft and deliberate from the bathroom. A single voice, low and cold. "I'm closer than you think." One stormy evening, Sophie's courage, or perhaps desperation, gave out. She stepped into the bathroom and turned toward the largest mirror she owned. Lightning flashed outside, illuminating a figure behind her. And this time, it wasn't fleeting. It was him. The man's face was hollow, eyes black as pits, his lips twisted into a sinister smile. Sophie's heart hammered, her throat tight with terror. She spun around. The room was empty. She dared to look back at the mirror. The figure raised a hand, and then she realized with bone-deep horror, the reflection wasn't hers. She was staring at something that had learned to mimic her, but wasn't her. Something that had been living in the mirrors all along, waiting for the perfect moment. Sophie screamed. No sound escaped her throat. Her world collapsed into darkness. When her neighbors noticed her door the next morning, it was wide open. The bathroom mirror lay shattered across the floor, but Sophie was gone. Only a message remained, scrawled in red lipstick across the tiles. "I am everywhere you look." Since that night, anyone who has lived in Sophie's apartment has felt eyes watching them in every reflective surface. Some swear they've glimpsed her too, trapped inside the mirrors, silently screaming. And if you ever stay there late at night, you might catch him, standing just behind you, smiling, waiting. Because he is patient, he is everywhere, and he knows that eventually you'll look.